Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Here we go. Here we go. Everybody tuned in to Miguel's Minute. Make sure you got a drink. First things first. Make sure you got a drink. Ain't nobody tuned in yet, so I got some time. But for the ones that are going to tune in, we locked in. Get you a drink. Off tomorrow. Most of y'all should be off tomorrow. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Money falling. She make that. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I hear that Wiz playing in the back. All right, man. Y'all know the vibes. No time to waste, baby. Hey, man. This past weekend was a great weekend for sports in general, man. I mean, if you're a football person or just a sports person in general, you enjoyed this weekend. Of course, with the return of college football, man. I mean, it doesn't get any better than that, to be honest with you. Let me turn this down a little bit. Um, but yeah, man. I mean, for the most part, every game was competitive. Everybody that played and was supposed to won, except one team. We're gonna get to that though. But you already know who we're here to talk about, man. Let's go ahead and get to the team that everybody, especially the Afro American community, wants to talk about. Them damn Colorado Buffaloes, man. I mean, it's not really a lot to say. It's a lot of the same old shit with them from last year, for real. But I will say this: Shador Sanders and Travis Hunter are going to be in Heisman contention because I think personally that Colorado is going to win anywhere between 6 to 7 games. More so on that seven side. I think they'll get in a bowl game. I do think that, man. I mean, those guys are playing at a whole nother level right now, bro. I mean, between Shador throwing for 400, almost 450 yards, and Travis catching 150 yards and 3 touchdowns. Was it 3 touchdowns? 3 touchdowns. I mean, bro, those two dudes can carry a team. I mean, from what we see, and those two guys can carry them, man. I mean, you have other weapons on their offense as well. Jimmy Horn, almost 200 yards receiving, a touchdown, man. He balled out his first last game. And then that Hester, Jacob Hester, he's legit, man. He's legit. He's really good to be a freshman. I mean, they offense, I'm not worried about. Their offensive line, maybe, but their offense in general, nah, not worried about them. Now, when we get to that defensive side of the ball, that's where the issue is going to come with them. I mean, they're in the Big 12, so those teams are going to be big. I mean, mostly, whenever you think about the Big 12 historically, they're usually bigger teams, usually big lines, O line, D line. I mean, but in that conference now, I mean, with Texas leaving and Oklahoma leaving, that leaves a lot, of pretty much who's going to be the top dog now. And truthfully, Colorado could, but their defense, I think, is what's going to let them down. I mean, you giving up slant routes to North Dakota. Now, don't get me wrong. North Dakota State is a legit team. They're a FBS contender every year. They're really good. Do not get me wrong. I'm not saying they're slouches by any sense of the word. But what I will say is, if you're going to be the cream of the crop in a top tier team like Colorado wants to be and what they plan to be, then you have to be able to smack on those teams. Like I'm not going to sugarcoat it. You got to be able to at least put them in a blender. But I will say this: North Dakota State did win like 6 of the last 7, as far as playing against like the higher tier, Power 5 teams. So that's something that's going to be a little bit different for those, for them to, you know, adjust to. But nevertheless, like I said, Colorado, they got some promise. They got promise this year. Their defense is a lot better. I'll say that. They got to the quarterback, which is something that they lacked a lot of last year. They got to the quarterback 3 times in this previous game. So, I mean, that's a good step. But this week coming up at Nebraska, this is where the people that hate Colorado are going to be able to either be like, oh, they suck for real like we thought, or they really good as fuck, or they're decent. Because if you go in a hostile environment like Nebraska and, they got all the hype with their quarterback coming in and all the other things, and you go in there and come out with a W, then you got some promise as far as this conference goes. But yeah, as far as Colorado goes, I really want to touch on one person before I get off them. Bro, Travis Hunter is different. The shit that he does when he's on the field and healthy is some of the craziest shit I've ever seen. If you watch that game and you seen that catch, bro, that might have been one of the most insane catches I've ever seen in my life. As far the time, what had happened before that, something similar, he got pretty much a PI. And, as we all, if you watch, well off media as far as like Colorado's, media coverage and everything, you see that Shadur was in the host saying, I don't give a fuck, catch the ball, bro. Like, I don't give a fuck who, like, what he was doing, catch it. And boy, did he catch the next one. That dude is a baller, bro. I mean, to me, he's top 3 pick. I mean, I feel like you can't miss a guy like him. You can't miss a guy like Travis Hunter, bro. I mean, you got quarterback, and this is a very quarterback heavy draft too. We're gonna say that as well, but there's once in a lifetime players or once in a generation players, and I believe that Travis Hunter has the opportunity to do both. In my opinion, he played more snaps on defense than he did on offense, and it was just as productive as in both. He shut down the whole side of the field and caught 3 touchdowns with over 100 yards. I mean, what more can you say about that dude? Now, the question is just like last year, can he keep it up? I mean, last year, don't get me wrong, he got a nasty hit that took him out of the season for a little while. But can he sustain that? He looks a little bit bigger. Him and Shador both. So can they sustain what they're doing at this high level throughout the whole season? Because if they do, even if they only win 5, 6 games, they still could be in Heisman contention. I mean, Caleb Williams and USC weren't that great last year, and he was still in Heisman contention with his numbers. So I mean, it's going to be interesting to see what that conference in general. The Big 12 is a lot different, with the Pac-12 dispersing, and all these other teams entering these other conferences. It's a whole lot of different stuff going on. I mean, you got Utah in that conference now, and we're not going to act like Utah has ever been a slouch, but they're definitely not a slouch now with the NIL and the way that's going. So, I mean, you have a bunch of different teams in that conference. Then you have like Oregon, who left the Pac-12 and went to the Big 10. They're the cream of the crop of the Big 10 now. I mean, it's just so different with the realignment with the Pac-12 dispersing, man. This is going to be an interesting season. But I will say, you got to give Colorado a fighting chance because they have the players and they have the coach and they have a culture. When you have a culture that's established and that locker room that understands that they respect their coach, they respect their quarterback, they respect the program, and you got a leader like Dion who's willing to go to bat for your team, sky's the limit, bro. I mean, you can't really, you know, down this team because of all the hype and everything. You got to give them a shot. And I tell you this, Dion has done that. He's given this team a shot on the national stage to be great. And this is something that, we love to see with somebody like Deion Sanders. I mean, a lot of people say he should have went to Florida State. He should have got the Florida State job, blah, blah, blah. But this is his proving ground. And whether we like it or not, black coaches have to prove themselves before they get to that upper echelon. It's just a fact. It is what it is. And this is his proving ground. Jackson State, you would have thought would have been a proving ground for him. But, yeah, he proved it there, and he got to Colorado. A lot of people say, yeah, Colorado is a big-time school, blah, 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 this, that, and third. But you got to understand, when he got to Colorado, it was a one-win team. So even for people last year that said that 4 and whatever was trash, a 3-win difference is a lot for a program like that cleared everybody out and brought a whole new team in. And this year, they damn near did the same thing. 47 new players. Took away 52. That's a whole new team. They have to get continuity. They have to learn each other. And as we've seen, the people that know each other are Travis Hunter, Shador, and Jimmy Horn. Shador has very good continuity with all his receivers. You can tell they've been working all summer and all spring. So, like I said, man, it's going to be interesting to see with them. But, yesterday was a great day for football, man. I mean, we're going to start out with the first game when Georgia put that shellacking on Clemson, bro. I mean, the first half was pretty competitive. I'll say that first half was pretty good. It was a defensive first half. You could tell that both teams were kind of loosening up, trying to, if we're gonna use boxing terms, loosening their hands or whatever. But I will say this: In the second half, Georgia showed why they've been the best team in the country the last 5 years, maybe 6 years, the most consistent team at least. They run the ball, and now they trust their quarterback to just toss it up there to the cream of the crop receivers. So I mean, when you talking about Georgia, bro, you talking about a powerhouse, and Clemson could be a powerhouse. They really could. But as we seen with Dabo, he doesn't want to adjust to the times, man. He has literally he won't give that money out. He won't be participating in the NIL and all that stuff, which is stupid. Because at that point, your team's gonna stay mediocre. You're not gonna compete with the Georgias, the Bamas, the Colorados, the Colorados, the all these teams that's throwing this NIL out. You're not gonna be able to compete with them if you're not willing to join them. Like you have to do what you got to do. And Clemson got money. And if anything, I hope this game was a wake up call to Dabo. Like, bro, all right, it's time. I got to get into it. It is what it is. Nick Saban left before shit got too out there. He's like, yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and go because he foresaw what was about to happen. So if I'm Dabo, it's either you get hip or you dip, my boy. It's one or the other. And me being from down south, I want to see Clemson be a team that contends because that's what I'm used to. We're used to seeing Deshaun Watsons and all those guys compete at a high level, and we're not seeing that from Clemson because of their head coach and him and his unwillingness to do what everybody else is doing. But like I said, man, Georgia put that thing on them. It is what it is. We all knew that was going to happen, but we didn't expect it in that capacity. But they showed their dominance on both sides of the ball. Their defense is insane. Their offense is insane. They probably got the best safety in the nation. No disrespect to Caleb Downs out there in Ohio State, but that dude's something different, bro. Their team is something different, and you can tell that they're coached well and they are disciplined. That is the key. If you notice the difference between great teams at any sport at the collegiate level, you can tell by the discipline, how disciplined they are on the field, off the field, and how they conduct themselves. And with a team like Georgia, they're not going to beat themselves. You have to beat them. So, that's neither here nor there. But yesterday, man, I mean, it was a lot of great games, a lot of great performances. But I'm going to tell you guys, if you don't watch college football, who you guys need to watch. And I cannot say his name. I'm not even going to try to butcher his name. But that quarterback from Tennessee, the freshman, a true freshman, listen. And I watched the whole game with Colorado. He's the best quarterback probably in the country. From what I've seen, he's legit. Top and bottom, he's legit, bro. I haven't seen anything like that in a long time, truthfully speaking. And especially from a freshman. That's the thing. It came from a freshman, bro. And he's out there doing what he does at the highest level, destroying the competition and making it look easy. I mean, bro, he's 6'6", and he has a gun. He throws that mug like I haven't seen anybody else. So he's gonna be playing on Sundays. Lord, please I hope my team still sucks when he's ready to get drafted because he's something else. He's gonna be one of them ones based off what I just seen. Injuries, of course, permitting and anything like that. He's gonna be one of them ones. But like I said, man, all the teams that were supposed to win yesterday, they did their job. I mean, everybody. You talking about from freaking all the teams, bro. I mean, the SEC. I'm sorry, y'all. SEC dominating. Everybody dominating that. And then you have Texas, Quinn Ewers, and all they transfers and everything. They always gonna be good, and especially this year. They're predicted to be a top 3 seed in the playoff. But man, it's so deep, bro. And the 12 team playoff changes everything a lot, bro. It changes the dynamic, as in the teams that are used to, the 1-loss teams or the 2-loss teams that play in hard conferences, they can still get in. That's the beauty of this new format. Because I mean, from what I seen yesterday, if I was to do a top 5 right now, way too early. Don't even pay me no mind. Way too early, top 5. I'm going Georgia, easy number 1. Easy number 1. It's not even close. They're literally cream of the crop. Like they're head and shoulders above everybody right now, from what I've seen. Ohio State looked very mid, but they're still Ohio State. So I'll go ahead and put them at 2. Now here's the third team. I'm not gonna put Texas. And if you didn't watch the game or don't watch college football, Do it, because I'm about to tell you guys the team that's going to be the sleeper this year. It's going to be Ole Miss. Man, Ole Miss looks legit with Jackson Dart in that offense, bro. Lane Kiffin got some shit up there, and he's gonna make it work. I mean, I haven't been big on Ole Miss in the last few years because, of course, they play in the SEC, and you're not beating Bama's and Georgia's. Those are two losses that you probably gonna have to hold, and that's gonna keep you out the playoffs. But with this new 12-team format, they could still sneak in with losing those games. And now with the SEC not having like two separate sides, it's gonna be different, bro. It's gonna be very interesting to see how Ole Miss fares, and they got everything they need. They have the defense, they have the quarterback, they have the coaching. There's no excuses for Ole Miss this year. They have to just get it done. And Jackson Dart is a really damn good quarterback. So the team like Ole Miss and Penn State, for example, those two teams are going to be two teams that's going to get in the playoffs based off their schedule, their record, because of the 12-team playoffs. Because you got to think in the Big Ten, I don't have Michigan winning it. I think Oregon's better than Ohio State, and I also think that Penn State is better than both Michigan and Ohio State also, based off what I seen yesterday. So what we're gonna have to see is like how those teams gonna beat on each other and who's gonna come out on top in that conference, and that's gonna determine that one of those main seeds or whoever gets the first round bye, because that's how the playoff format is set up now. The Power Fives, they get a bye, which is huge, bro. Like that's big for the Power Five teams. Like you getting a bye going to the next round, and you get to rest and watch these teams play. So these other teams gonna be tired going to the next round. They gonna have to still, do everything they gotta do to ready up their bodies to go play these top tier teams, which is what I'm excited about with the college playoff format. I mean, but there's gonna be some teams that may get in that we're gonna be like, why did they get in? I mean, some mid majors, maybe like a Boise State or a Liberty or one of these teams that are mid major but are still very good in their conferences and have good records. Because now with the 12 team, you can't really hold them teams out. If you guys remember, a few years ago, Coastal Carolina was like number 10 or 11, undefeated, beat up on everybody in their conference, and they didn't get a big time playoff game or a big time bowl game because of their conference. That shit is out of the question now. They could still get in, so it's gonna be different, man, to see with this format how it works. But like we said, bro, with every single great teams and all the good teams, there's a team that always surprises you with a loss. And yesterday, it just so happened to be Virginia Tech. I'm sorry to all my betting people, including myself. Of course, I took Virginia Tech against fucking Vanderbilt, or like Vanderbilt, bro. Come on now, you lose to Vanderbilt after you got all this momentum going into the offseason. You're supposed to be one of the contenders in the ACC, and you go out there and you lay an egg. Come on, dude. Like what? That's that's not it, bro. You go out there, lay an egg. You don't perform at a high level, and then you make your conference look sad by how you perform. The ACC we didn't perform too well in this first week. Florida State lost, even though it was to an ACC school. They still lost. Virginia Tech lost. Clemson got obliterated. I mean, the ACC got to be better, man. North Carolina looks mid. Lost their quarterback for the year. I mean, bro, the ACC is definitely going to have a down year as far as it comes to, you know, the ins and out of everything. But I will say this with, you know, the ACC being what it is now, and all these coaches not being willing to tap into the NIL thing, and there's a lot of ACC schools being like this. It's gonna be hard for ACC to compete, and except Florida State, of course. I mean, they're going to compete. They lost their first game. It is what it is, but we'll see, and we'll go from there. But also with the ACC, while we're talking about them, I want to talk about Mr. Cam Ward, bro. Hey, I'll say this, and I won't. I'm not gonna badger it. Cam Ward is a Heisman contender also. And it's not a coincidence that him and Shador worked out a lot this summer together. And you can see the confidence that he's coming with right now. Bro, the U might be back. The U might be back. Now we're gonna see how they fare against other opponents, bro. Like they're gonna have to really bring it against other opponents also. But man, they look really, really good against Florida. Granted, Florida is shit. They are terrible. They're trash. Florida's terrible. but he looked really good. I mean, he can run, he can throw. The only thing that worries about me is he takes really crazy chances sometimes. And if you're watching this pod and you watch that game, bro, he was doing sidewind passes, like crazy ass passes. He threw a pick because he pretty much tried to force it. So that's what's going to scare me with him. But he has the team. He has a first team All ACC receiver to throw to. He has a bunch of transfer weapons. And his defense and the U's defense is legit, bro. They are legit. They are coming to play. So it's gonna be interesting to see that as well with them guys. But that's another team that could sneak into that playoff. They was ranked number 19 before yesterday. They'll probably go up a little bit just based on what they did and how in the fashion that they did it. But what we have to understand is this playoffs and what we've seen from the committee in the previous years. Your strength of schedule matters. Who you beat matters, and your the the way you beat them matters. So we're gonna see, man. I mean, it's gonna be interesting with the college football playoff moving forward. But there was a bunch of teams that impressed me yesterday, and there was a bunch of teams that didn't really impress me. Like, I mean, shit, Alabama did what they supposed to do. They have a crazy good freshman though, receiver. He is the goods, and he's 17 years old. 17 years old, bro. He's supposed to be in high school, but he reclassed to come be at Alabama this year. He's legit, bro. I mean, they did what they're supposed to do. I mean, Missouri, Kansas, all those teams beat the brakes off their team that they're supposed to do. So for the most part, everybody did what they had to do. Next week is when the real games start, and we start to see teams beat on each other a little bit. Texas plays Michigan. That's gonna be huge. I don't think Michigan is as good as they were in previous years. I don't. Their quarterback play is very suspect in the way they got four different people running the ball instead of just riding one horse, which they should do. But it is what it is with that. But that's going to be a great game next week. I mean, everybody else that plays next week is pretty much dubs. If you gamble, definitely take that Ole Miss point spread because they putting up numbers on everybody. It doesn't matter who's out there; they're putting up numbers. And definitely take that Miami point spread. They play A&M, FAMU, if you know. Not gonna look good. That's gonna be a 40 ball easy. Take that spread also. Um, but as far as college football goes, I'm a big fan of it, and I love it more than NFL because of not only like the speed and all that of it, but just the way that the teams like you could tell they actually like each other. It's not just they're not just there to get a check, even though they are there to get a check now. They're not just there for that, man. But tonight you got LSU and USC, bro. It's gonna be a good game. Me personally, I am a gambling man. I'm not gonna tell y'all my parlay, but if I'm, gonna tell y'all what to do, take the points. Take the points. Neither team can play defense. Both of them got quarterback that is gonna throw it. Neither team has decent secondary. It's gonna be a very high scoring game, probably. Um, we're just gonna see who. It's gonna come down to probably who scores the last touchdown and who gets stopped first. Which is gonna, usually how the Pac-12 plays, as USC was in the Pac-12, and how LSU has played previously in previous years, the last few years. So that's gonna be a good game. 7:30. I think it's on ESPN. Make sure y'all tune into that. But as far as my predictions for each conference goes, man, I mean, I got some predictions, but it's a little bit different than what everybody may think it's gonna be. Um, ACC when I have Miami. I don't see nobody beating them in the ACC. Even Florida State. I don't have any faith in DJU. I don't have any faith in him. I think he's such a mid quarterback, and I've thought that since he was at Clemson. He's not a good quarterback to me. He's very mid. He's very average. He's not somebody that's going to take you to the next level. But whatever. I guess you got to deal with what you have to deal with. SEC. Now, I know everybody wants to say Georgia, so naturally I think Georgia's going to win it. But if I was to pick a sleeper team, and don't sleep when I tell y'all this, Tennessee is a sleeper in the SEC, bro. They're a sleeper. They're not an easy out, bro. And like I said at the beginning, bro, they probably have the best quarterback, no matter of class, in the country, bro. from what I seen that dude do yesterday as a freshman in his first start, nah, you're not gonna sit here and tell me that he couldn't do that. He was so poised, bro. He was like, it's like he'd been here before. It wasn't like something that he was shocked. Rocky Top was jumping and everything, and he was just out there throwing that pill like he been doing his whole life. So Georgia not gonna be easy out for them. Ole Miss not gonna be easy out for them. But the thing with college football that's unlike the NFL, like we've seen teams in the NFL rely heavy on their run game and can contend or not contend, but be pretty damn good. We've seen it with the Cowboys early Zeke, early Dak years. We've seen it with the Titans until this year with Derrick Henry. We've seen it with with different teams, bro. But in college, you have to have a legit quarterback, bro. If you're gonna be nice, like you have to. Now, don't get me wrong. In the NFL, if you don't have a top tier quarterback, you're not winning no fucking Super Bowl. Don't get me wrong. But the teams that don't have even a decent quarterback, a prime example is last night the Notre Dame game, bro. Them versus Texas A&M. Texas A&M is the loudest place to play in the nation. If you play NCAA, which we all do, you know that. And they even showed it last night. They had over 100,000 people in that fucking stadium, bro. And their quarterback is shit. He is shit. He could barely get them to score points, bro. Like, and then you look on the opposite side, and you got Notre Dame, who Riley Leonard comes from Duke, played for Mike Elko at Duke, who's now the coach at Texas A&M. And you watch Riley Leonard literally carry the team in a way, making plays with his legs, making plays with his arm, being smart, being a game manager. If you don't have that in college football, you're not going to be successful. And that's why I think Tennessee has a chance to come out the SEC as champions, bro. But naturally, I don't see nobody beating Georgia. I would put Bama in there, man, but it's something about Bama that when I was watching them last night that I was like, I don't know. But I didn't think that when I seen Georgia play, and I didn't think that when I seen Tennessee or Ole Miss. I didn't think that about any of those teams. So it's gonna be different, man. It's gonna be interesting to watch, interesting to see who comes out the SEC. But my pick naturally is Georgia. My sleeper pick, Tennessee. Now we're gonna go to the Big 12, the conference in which Colorado's in. Man, bro, that conference is so open. It's going to be very, very, very different to see who going to come out that conference because there's so many good teams. Um, but if I was to maybe take a guess, oh fuck it, I'm just gonna go with Colorado, bro. I'm going with Colorado. I think they're gonna win the conference, bro. I mean, they have everything they need to win. They have everything they need to win. They have the quarterback. They have the coach. They have the skill players at a high level. Their skill players are high level skill players, bro. Very, 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 very high level skill players. So I don't see a world where they don't compete and win. But I will say this: they have to come to play every game, bro. They can't be doing that old Colorado shit that we so used to seeing, where they show up one game, show up another game, and then be ass. I feel like Coach Prime has coached them up on consistency this year, but it's gonna be something that's gonna be interesting to see. Um, but I will say, I will throw. I'll say that they're gonna get it. I'll say, man, the damn Big 12 is so deep, bro. You got ranked teams all in that motherfucker. You got Arizona, Kansas, Kansas State, Oklahoma State, Utah, bro. Those teams are really good, but there's no reason why Colorado can't beat any of those teams. So I'm not. I'm going with Colorado to win that conference. I am. I'm gonna say that they're gonna get the dub. I don't see a world where they're not, where they don't get it. Um, but just like I said, bro, it's gonna be a different. It's gonna be kind of give or take with Colorado whether they come to play. They have to come to play, man. Otherwise, it's not gonna look good for them. Now we're gonna get to the Big Ten. It's gonna be a toss up between Michigan, Penn State. No, I mean Ohio State, Penn State, and Oregon. I think Oregon's gonna come out. They have the better quarterback out of the three teams I just named, and they have a great defense. They have a legit defense. Now, don't get me wrong. We all know Ohio State brings it, but the problem with them is that they don't bring it in big games, man. They don't bring it in big games, and that's gonna be something that I feel like they're gonna have to bring it every night in that conference. So we'll see. But my pick to win that conference is Oregon for sure. Um, Pac-12 or what's remaining of it, what's remaining of the Pac-12. It's not really a Pac-12 anymore, so we're not really gonna say anything about them. But then you got the independent teams like Notre Dame. They can only get to a 5 seed, so they can't really do much. But those are my main the power out of the big powerhouse conferences. Those are the ones that I have that's going to perform at the high level. And then you got the Big East don't get no fucking bid, so they don't really matter. Um, but we'll see. Like I said, it's gonna be a lot of sleeper teams. You got teams like Liberty, really good offense, really good defense. They ended the season ranked last year also, so we'll see with them. But that's the beauty of this shit, man. College football, I love it because it's so much unpredictability, bro. You just never know who's going to show up, who's going to win, who's going to come to play that day, and that's the beauty of amateur sports in general. And truthfully, that's the beauty of the transfer portal. The transfer portal has evened the playing field all around. It really has, and a lot of people are against it and they don't like it. I mean, as a coach and at the high school level, it hurts the high school kids because they don't get recruited as much as we used to back in the day because there was no transfer portal. Once your people leave, they leave, and they were trying to get the next good thing. Now you can find the next good thing at any level. I was just talking to somebody the other day, and I was telling them like like junior college, they don't even look at junior colleges first before they look at like D2s now. Like the D2 is like the new JUCO. You know what I'm saying? Like if you go play D2, you can get a D1 look in both sports. Like it is what it is, but that's the beauty of transfer portal. It evens the playing field for everybody. I'm very excited about this college football season. Truthfully, like I said that a couple times, but a lot of people don't even know I like football. But that's one of my favorite. That's probably my favorite sport besides basketball, of course. But yeah, I mean, gonna be interesting to see. Colorado this week, like I said, they got Nebraska. Y'all know I'm tuned in. No matter what time that shit come on, we gonna be all together drinking our beer and everything like we always do, watching Colorado perform. Hopefully, Dion and them can pull it out. But all right, man. I mean, that's the college football. Now, as y'all see, I put some WNBA in here, bro. We have to talk about this WNBA shit, and we have to talk about three players in particular. And I've talked about them a bunch of times, and I'm gonna keep talking about them. First, we're gonna start with the rookies, bro. What Caitlin Clark is doing is fucking amazing, bro. She might get her team in the playoffs, bro. If she gets her team in the playoffs, she's rookie of the year because they don't get there without her. She damn near averages a double double, almost 20 and 10. Like, bro, and I'm gonna be honest with y'all, the Olympics helped her. That was like the second part of the season was like her off season. She probably was in there getting better, adjusting like hell to the physicality. She know what it's gonna be like now, so now she's ready. So now she's gonna get to these playoffs. I wouldn't want to see Caitlin Clark in the fever in the playoffs. I wouldn't want to see them. Too much unpredictability. And they're not a terrible team, bro. And now they're starting to play around her and, gravitate towards her being their leader. And that's what they needed to do from the beginning. If they would have been doing that from the beginning, they would have been in a position for playoffs already. But now that they're in that position and they're realizing that, okay, we need Caitlin Clark to be Caitlin Clark, to hit 4-5 threes, to get 10 assists, which she's going to do. She's going to get at least 15 and at least 7 assists every single game, which is something that's needed for that team to be successful. Aaliyah Boston don't get her buckets without Caitlin Clark setting her up. All these people what y'all have to understand is she is a true point guard. To me, she is like Steve Nash or like a Sue Bird. She was like the Steve Nash of the WNBA for years. That's what Caitlin Clark is. She's already broke the single season assist record. She's already broken the 3-point record. I mean, bro, if you hate Caitlin Clark, then you just a hater, bro. She's legit. Like, and despite what people may think, the WNBA does need her. She is a cash. If you watch any of the highlights, just watch the highlights. You don't even gotta watch the game, bro. Watch the highlights. Every single game is packed out because of her, not because of nobody else. Because of her, she's selling out arenas. She's getting merch sold. The WNBA need to focus on her, bro. They are so dumb as far as business wise, and y'all want the women out here. Y'all want to always talk about how like the sports don't get pushed for women, et cetera, et cetera. It's because the person the people that's running WNBA aren't pushing it. That's their fault, bro. They have to push the agenda so that we could be involved in it. We're not gonna buy merch. We're not gonna watch the games. We're not gonna do none of that shit if we don't see it on every single thing that we see. When we watch TV, we watch YouTube, we watch all these other things. All we see is NBA previews. We see all NBA players on all these things. We see all this stuff that's promoting the NBA. When I'm watching the commercials for 2K, there's Jason Tatum commercials. I might have seen one Asia Wilson commercial. Come on, bro. I mean, I understand, it is a lot of, sexism in sports, but some of it, not all of it. Let me go ahead and emphasize that it's some of it, not all of it. It's definitely self-inflicted, bro. I mean, bro, a prime example is the Olympic team or the 3-on-3 Olympic team. Like, you could have put Caitlin Clark on one of those teams. She didn't even have to play. She would not even have to play, and she would have, bro. I guarantee you, it would have been the most viewership ever for the women's Olympics ever if you'd have put Caitlin Clark on that team because of what she's bringing and doing for the sport. It is what it is. You got to understand, bro. There's a slippery slope and a very very small window for the WNBA to capitalize on, and this is the window. It's already ass enough that the girls have to stay 4 years before they can go into the WNBA. That shit is whack. They should at least make it 3 years like the football teams, like football does. But it is what it is. I'm not gonna stump on their rules. But I will also say they have to capitalize, bro. Like, bro, if I'm them right now, I'm putting Juju Watkins in commercials, bro. Like, she's going. Like, why wouldn't you? Think about the business aspect of everything. You want to talk about the fairness? Think of y'all. They trying to make money. Them girls are trying to get paid. They don't give a fuck about all the fairness, bro. They want to get paid fairly. That's the only fairness they care about is getting paid fair. And if you're not going to promote them and you're not going to do all that stuff that the NBA does for their players, then there lies the problem. You can't be mad at other people for that. It is what it is. Somebody got to say the shit. So I'm gonna say it. Whoever the commissioner of the WNBA is, you need to get your shit together. You need to pay some fucking refs or whatever you got to do and get Caitlin Clark ass in the playoffs so the viewership can go out of this fucking roof. If that's what you want, and the girls want to get paid more, it is what it is. Everybody say that sports be rigged, so here go your chance to rig it and make some fucking money because there's no reason that Caitlin Clark shouldn't be looked at as one of the best. Well, shouldn't be promoted as one of the best players in the world, and as far as women goes, because she is, and it's not even close. Um, but even with that being said, Angel Reese, man, today actually she broke the all-time WNBA single season rebounding record. Now her field goal percentage is ass, terrible. Whatever, she getting hella boards. That bro, she gonna get better. But we knew this when she was in college, bro. She was just bigger than everybody. She wasn't dominating crazy like that. She was bigger than everybody and had a bunch of great games because she was just bigger. She got to the next level. She that everybody it ain't no slouch. So now it's she's struggling field goal percentage wise, but she's still producing at a high level. And her team wouldn't be in the position they're in either if it wasn't for her. So those two girls, man, kudos to them, especially to come in with all the pressure, not even necessarily pressure, but the scrutiny more so than pressure. They'll come in and do what they're doing at this level, bro. It's very impressive. And me, I'm a hoop fan, whether it be men or women. I'm a hoop fan, and I'm a fan of both those ladies. I'm a big fan of Angel because of how hard she plays, bro. It's something that you can't teach. You tell kids that, you tell people that, you tell players that all the time, like, play hard, play hard, play hard. But that's something you can't teach. All you can do is just tell them. And it looks like you don't even have to tell her. She's going out there and giving her 100% all every time. And I think that's dope as fuck for the younger generation to keep looking at and, noticing. But, you know, finally, man, we're going to talk about the best player, bar none, in the WNBA, and that's Asia Wilson, bro. Bro, she doesn't see, bro, she is carrying the Aces, bro. Like, carrying them. Like, that team is so stacked, she shouldn't have to, but she is. She's literally dragging them to the playoffs. And once they get there, it's going to be interesting to see how they perform against these other teams. But Asia's doing her part, bro. She's definitely going to win MVP. She's averaging 27 and 12, bro. 27-12 is not, bro, insane. And like 1.5 blocks, 1.5 steals. She's gonna win MVP, Defensive Player of the Year, and she's gonna be a first teamer. And she just got a gold medal. You talk about a hell of a summer. She's on track. Shout out to Asia Wilson, bro. I mean, I'm a huge fan. Been a fan since South Carolina, bro. So, I mean, I want the Aces to win because shit. I told myself that if the Aces win the championship, I'm going to Vegas to go to that parade because I'm trying to see Kelsey Plum. But nah, bro. I mean, that's really it. Now, I did. I told everybody who watched my last live, bro. I'm about to have a fantasy draft, and fantasy ain't my shit, bro. It's never been my thing. So I'm gonna need some help, bro. I mean, I'm about to put out a poll here in a few. I need help. Hopefully I get one of the top 3 picks so I can tap in. But other than that, man, Miguel's Minute. I appreciate everybody that tuned in. There wasn't a lot of people tuned in, but it don't matter. I'm gonna post a video. Everybody that tuned in, I appreciate you. Let's go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Please hit that subscribe button. It will take a second. I appreciate you if you do that for me. Other than that, man, Miguel's Minute. I'm gonna get at you. Peace.